Let's get started. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Sarah Page, and today we're going to do a short yoga practice for stability. You don't really need any props for this class, but if you had yoga blocks or something about the size of a yoga block, that might come in handy for you eventually. So we're going to start standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. This is a good time just to check in with your body, notice how you're feeling. Make a commitment right now to yourself, to your practice, to your safety and well-being. And observe your breath. Try to smooth out your breath, make it more polished. Notice if there's a sound associated with your breath. And bring an awareness to your spine, your rib cage, your belly and your low back. And feel how your breath affects those areas on your body when you inhale and when you exhale. Sense an expansion throughout your trunk, your ribs, your belly, your back, with every inhale breath. And then follow your exhale out nice and slow. Consider what comes to mind when you hear the word or phrase stability or to be stable. Does it mean to be static or rigid? Or perhaps it means to be responsive to your environment. That's what we're hoping for today. To find our center, to find homeostasis, even when our lives might be slightly chaotic and maybe a little bit uncertain at times. Let's create a connection to our feet here. So whether your feet are all the way together or whether you're standing about hips width, let's just start to shift our weight. See how that affects our stability. What's that? Oh, it did? Okay.
Let's post that just to see. I was like, goodness, because I couldn't get it to again, publish. We'll just go ahead and go live video. Just this and try to get it. So I apologize for that.
It's okay. We're going to try again, everyone. We seem to have lost the connection. So let's go ahead and just start from the top. This class is designed to help you connect to your stability, your ability to recover from any sort of perturbation in your life. So we'll start standing in mountain pose, Tadasana. Feel your feet. Feel the natural presentation of your spine. Bring an awareness to your rib cage, your belly, your back, your seat. And find a position standing that makes you feel stable, responsive, without being rigid. Can you find some strength here in your posture? Bring a softness to your jaws. And a little bit more depth and intention with your breath. And if you didn't catch the first introduction, I'll do it again. My name is Sarah Page. I'm a yoga instructor here at Mountainside Fitness, and I am so excited to bring you this live practice, Yoga for Stability. Connect to your feet. Lift and spread your toes, and then just let them be soft and relaxed. Feel the firm anchoring points at your big toe knuckle, your pinky toe knuckle, in the center of your heel. Connect those 3 anchoring points with straight lines. You might see or sense on the bottom of your foot now that you have an odd-shaped triangle. And in the middle of that triangle are the muscles of your arch, a shock absorber for your body. Remember, your feet are your foundation in yoga and in life. So let's just be present there right now. Start to move your weight around so that you feel a different experience in your foot, from the front, from the back, to the right side, to the left side. Notice how your feet and ankles respond to the shifting of your body weight. Inviting in this natural responsiveness of your foundation so that you don't feel rigid or too static. You're more able to handle whatever comes your way. Now find some stillness here in your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Feel a softness throughout your jaw, your shoulders, your neck. A little bit of softness around your eyes. Sweep your arms overhead. Take a long inhale here. As you exhale, take a side bend over to your right. Reach your left arm a little higher. Be comfortable in your neck here. Relax the base of your neck. Find some support here throughout your core. One side's getting a little bit of tone. The other side's getting a little bit of stretch. You can even let your hips move a little bit to the left. As you breathe in, take your arms back overhead. Make your spine vertical. And when you exhale, let's take that side bend towards the other side. Observe your breath. Try to keep it pretty slow if you can, especially your exhale. Smooth it out, as if you could polish your breath. Come back through the center. Raise your arms overhead into a wide V. And as you exhale, make a pull-up with your arms. Let's do that twice more. Keep your spine pretty straight. Inhale to reach. Exhale to pull. And one more time. Inhale, reach. And exhale, pull. And then find your Tadasana. On your inhale, raise your arms over your head. As you exhale, bend your knees, hinge through your hips, and fold over your thighs. Let your head dangle and pedal your legs nice and slow. Keep just a little bend in your knees. Inhale, bring your spine up halfway. Try to make it level with the horizon and really strong. Take another breath here. And forward fold back over your legs. Inhale, rise to stand. Reach your arms nice and wide. Firm up your backside. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And then rest your arms by your sides. Let's do that one more time. A half sun salutation. Inhale, reach. Firm up your foundation. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold over your legs. Halfway lift. Inhale, long and strong. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse that swan dive. Come on up. Exhale, bring your hands into your heart. And then return back to your Tadasana. We're going to work on just a little bit of standing stability, and then we're going to come down onto the floor to change things up a little bit. So for now, let's set the feet about as wide as our hips and put a little bend in your knees. And imagine that you were dragging your heels backwards as if you had gum stuck on the bottom of your shoe or foot and you were trying to scrape that off of the bottom of your foot. So this is more of an isometric feeling here. You're not actually moving your legs. But as your knees bend a little bit, it's like you're trying to pull your heels backwards. And then shift the weight into your left leg. Keep your left knee slightly bent. Bring your right toes out to the side. Notice if you can keep your spine upright or did you tip to the left? So shoulders over the hips, right big toe touching the ground. Left knee is bent, almost like you're going to take that left leg into a slight squat. And then soften up your left toes and put more of your weight into your heel. Lift your right leg a little and then tap your toes back down. Let's do that 3 more times. A little lift, everything else stays really still, and lower down. 2 more, lift, nice even breath, and lower. 1 more time, lift, and lower. Return to Tadasana, and we'll repeat that on the second side. So just a little bend in the knees, pushing down into the floor, finding a sensation of pulling your heels towards the back of your mat. Step your left foot out to the side, but try to keep your trunk vertical. Really stand strong into your right leg. Commit to your foundation. And then float your left leg off the ground just a little. And then lower it down. You should be feeling this on your outer hip and glute area. Lift your left leg and lower it down. 2 more times. Doesn't have to lift very far. Just when you start to feel it, that's probably enough. Lower it down. 1 more time, lift and lower. And then Tadasana once again. Stand up nice and tall. Find an even balance between the right and the left sides of your body. Equal weight between both feet. We're sharing the load in the body, evenly distributed, bringing stability back into our foundation. And then let's put another little bend in the knees, almost like you're going to come to chair pose. And if you wanted a little bit more here, you could deepen your hip hinge and sit down a little more. I'm going to keep mine pretty moderate. Stand firmly into your left leg once again. Do what you want with your arms. What makes sense right now? Lift your right leg up and cross it over your left thigh and squeeze your inner thighs together. Lift your right leg up and set your right foot down. Let's move just this right leg. Keep your left leg bent in that mini squat. Lift and cross, give it a little squeeze, inner thighs, and then lift and set it back down. Just 2 more like that. Lots of weight in that left heel, lighter load in the toes, squeeze the inner thighs as you cross your leg, and then lift and sweep it back out in front of your hip. I think we got 1 more. What do you think? Let's do it. And then you can take just a short break. Notice what's happening here in that left ankle, foot, glutes, hip. Are there any sensations up in the neck or shoulders that feel like tension? And can you just kind of let that go and keep the work in your lower body? Press down through your foundation again. Hip hinge, bend your knees as much as you like. You're going to stay super committed to the foundation on your right side. Do what you like with your arms. Neutral spine curves, left leg up, across, and then squeeze it onto your right thigh. Lift, open it back, and set it down. 3 more times. This is a pretty slow movement. This is how we earn stability. Slow, controlled ranges of motion, almost like you're moving underwater. Let's do 1 more. Whoops. Finding that responsiveness and a little sense of humor never hurt. All right, let's find our Tadasana again. Stand up super tall. Inhale, raise your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge through your hips and fold over your legs. Let your spine dangle and alternate between right leg straight, left leg bent, and vice versa. Go slow here. And then however you want to get down to your seat, let's do that. So if your knees and ankles will allow, you could just start to drop your seat down towards your heels. Walk your hands back behind you and sit. And then we'll come all the way down onto our yoga mat. You can hold the backs of your thighs as you roll down if that works for you. And set your body into bridge preparation. For today, keep your heels away from your pelvis. I know that some of you like to reach your fingertips down to touch your heels, but for today, we're going to put a little more work in the hamstrings by keeping the heels further away from our body. Arms are going to be out to the side, maybe just on a diagonal. And then tuck your tailbone between your thighs so that your low back imprints into your yoga mat. Push your feet down into the floor and find a sense of your heels tugging towards your hips. So that should invite a little response from your hamstrings. Keep lengthening your tailbone towards the backs of your knees and peel your spine up off of your yoga mat, one bone at a time, till you're in a low, relaxed bridge. So this is not about how big you can get your back bend here. We're just trying to find some firmness and work in the legs and around the pelvis. Inner thighs, gently hugging in. And then take your time as you come down. Lower your spine from the top first. Then the ribs will land. Bring your low back down one bone at a time. And then finally your sacrum and your tailbone will land. Pause here for a few breaths. Notice how things are changing. Where do you feel a little activation? How does your breath feel? Let's try that one more time. Tuck under. It's a posterior pelvic tuck. Your low back will lengthen towards the floor. Keep curling your tailbone up between your thighs and peel your pelvis, then your low back, and then your spine up into your bridge. And if you wanted to take this bridge a little higher, that's cool, but let's keep the shoulders and neck super chill, really relaxed. Drive your heels down into your mat. Find a sense of your heels trying to pull up towards your seat. Soften your toes. One more breath. And then lower your spine one vertebra at a time. Be patient. And then let's take the legs so that our shins are parallel to the horizon and our upper leg bones are vertical. Bring your hands to the front of your thighs and imprint your low back into the floor. Press your legs into your hands and push your hands into your legs for some core resistance. Breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then take a little rest. Bring your feet back to the floor. Widen your foot stance. Let your legs windshield wiper or just be still. And then I'm going to let you choose once again how you would like to get back up to a seated position, and then we're going to go to a tabletop. So for me, I'm just going to rock and roll a few times. Otherwise, you can just roll onto your side and make your way up. If you're rocking and rolling, flex your spine like you're doing a core crunch. Tabletop. Broaden through your upper back. Inhale, lift your chest and your tail, cow. Exhale, drop your tail, round up your back like a scared Halloween cat. Twice more. Moving nice and easy and slow with your breath. There's no rush to get anywhere. Final round. Move your spine like a wave. And then set your foundation, your hands, your wrists, your fingers for your downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under and slowly stretch your hips up and back for downward facing dog as you stretch your spine. Pedal your feet if that feels nice. Walking your dog, letting your hips sway slightly. And then lift your heels off of your mat as high as they'll go and walk your feet forward. Top of your mat, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Reach tall through your spine and arms. Exhale your hands into your heart. We're going to keep this arm position. Put a slight bend in the knees. Keep your spine upright for now. Bring your left heel up like you're trying to kick your seat or juice an orange behind your left knee. Keep a lot of weight in your right heel. Bend your right knee a little more, and then straighten your right leg a little or a lot. 3 more. Little bending and a little straightening. Find your own rhythm. Now keep that right leg bent moderately. Take your arms behind you. Hinge your spine forward and reach your left leg backwards. Tap your left toes on the ground for a moment, and then see if you can squeeze your left bum to lift your left leg up. Tap your left toes down. Squeeze your left bum to lift. With your right foot, you're pushing down and finding that dragging back. Let's do it 2 more. Step your left foot to the front of your mat. Close your eyes. Center your awareness on your breathing. Open your eyes. Inhale, raise your arms. Upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise it up, strong backside. Exhale, place your palms together near your heart. Put a little bend in your knees again. Push down more through your left heel. Find that foot tripod, anchor down strong. And then bring your right heel up towards your seat. You're going to keep this right leg tucked like this, working on your right hamstrings to close the back of your knee. And then with your left leg, just some small single leg squats. We're keeping the spine in a pretty neutral position here along with the pelvis and just asking this left knee and ankle to make these little changes. Last 2. Root through your left heel especially and your big toe knuckle. Now find as much bend in that left knee as you want to. Deepen your hip hinge, so send your spine forward slightly and then reach your right toes back to touch your mat lightly. Find some pull from this right leg glute and lift your right leg off the ground. Arms can stay at heart center or fly back like wings. Tap your right toes lightly. Lift that right leg up and back so it feels like a baby warrior 3. Tap your right toes down and squeeze your right glutes to lift your right leg back up nice and straight. Let's try 1 more. Step your right foot forward, chair pose. Drop your seat back and down. Arms can do the forward reach, maybe an upward diagonal reach. You could bring your hands together or keep your hands near your heart center. See if you can still wiggle your toes. On your next inhale, take your arms overhead, stand up. Exhale, cactus your arms and lay your heart open. Tiny back bend. Inhale, reach up, stand up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Heel toe your feet out wider. Dangle your spine over your legs. You can put a nice bend in your knees if that feels better. And maybe a little movement here. Just a gentle sway. Heel toe your feet back in so that they're about as wide as your hips. Step back to tabletop. Come down onto your seat. Legs out in front of you. Hands behind your thighs. Roll yourself down nice and slow. Bring your heels in just a little bit closer this time for your bridge preparation pose. Arms beside you, still soft around the neck and shoulders. Take your right leg straight up into the air as if you were stretching your right hamstrings. Work on keeping your pelvis level. Try to imprint your low back a little bit closer to the earth as you posteriorly tuck your pelvis. Drive down through your left heel and lift up into a bridge pose. And maybe your right ankle would like some rotation here, or you could simply just point and flex a few times. If you wanted something just a little bit more challenging, you could work on mobilizing this right leg, lower it on a diagonal, and then stretch it up vertical again. Otherwise, feel free to hold with that vertical right leg stretched. If you're moving with me, let's do 2 more. Make sure your pelvis is still even and level. That's the hard part. Last optional challenge. For those of you that have your leg on a diagonal line, sweep your right leg to the right. Bring it in. Sweep it to the right. And bring it in. Let's do 1 more. Both feet planted firmly. Lay your spine down 1 vertebra at a time. Pause for a few breaths. Establish roots in your right foot. Stretch your left leg up over your hip. Tuck your tail under, posterior pelvic tuck. Now your low back feels like it's lengthening into the ground. Do your best to keep a level pelvis, as if you were trying to balance the scales here. Drive down through your right heel, lift your hips to a bridge. Try to keep it out of your neck. Maybe the left ankle needs a little love. We've done a lot of standing on one leg today, so our ankle will appreciate the support, this little stretch around those tissues. Option to stay here with that vertical left leg, or nice and slow, lower on a diagonal and raise it back up. The slower you do this, the more challenged you will be to maintain that stable, level pelvis. Feel that right bum really supporting you. We have 1 more like this, and then we're going to do that lateral leg sweep. Out to the left and back towards center. Out to the left and then back to neutral. Can we do 1 more? Keep your tailbone curling under so your low back stays long. And then reground your feet, both of them. Start at the top of your spine and lay yourself back down onto your back. Set your feet pretty wide. Let your knees rest together. Soften through your shoulders and neck. Connect inward. Observe how your body is right now without trying to judge it or label it. Taking a moment to feel the strength in our backside here, in our outer hips, in our core, around our spine. Feeling so supported and content. Calming the breath. Let's stretch the left leg all the way down to our yoga mat. And let your right leg come into a relaxed tree pose. So your right leg is just going to sweep out to the right. And then from here, you can either take your arms out like a cactus, just lay your arms open by your sides, or perhaps bring your hands somewhere on your belly or ribs so that you can feel your breath moving in your body. Bring your right leg back down. And let's find that relaxed tree pose on our backs with the left leg bending out to the side. Just let it lay open, really passively here. No need to worry about your stability now. You can just find ease, recovery. Inviting more depth with your breath. Connecting to the sound of your breath if you hear it. Let's rebend both legs. Plant your feet on your mat for now. And then I'm going to give you a couple choices here. We're either going to find our happy baby by holding on to the outside edges of our feet, soles of our feet imprinting towards the ceiling. Another option would be just to hold the front of your shins or knees. You could do this with a little rocking side to side, or working back into some stillness here. What does your body need right now? What does your mind need right now? What does your heart need right now? Let's set ourselves up for just a few moments of stillness and quiet. You can stay on your back. You could come up into a seated meditation pose. Basically, just organize your body so that you feel comfortable and relaxed. Eyes could be closed, perhaps. Let your breath flow naturally, subtle, more subdued. Decompress your jaws and smooth out your forehead. Give yourself permission now just to be. My time is up and my guidance is complete, but please stay where you are if you feel like you would benefit from a little more downtime. I'll be back on Sunday at 9 a.m. for a little bit more of a restorative practice. So I hope to see you again. Take care of yourselves. Namaste.